Do y'all know how many women die every year of domestic violence? Marriage is not for better, for worst. Marriage is for better, for best. That's my own principle. That's what I think. On the basis of infidelity, you can divorce. God says, I hate divorce. Divorce is not an option. Yes, divorce is an option.
Domestic violence is not acceptable. And you ladies, please, your life comes first. Your life comes first.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Zion again here, and it's good to be back as always. So guys, today I said I was going to be talking about Osinachi again. Well, something that's linked to, not Osinachi per se, but something that's linked to Osinachi. What I'm talking about is because of what happened to Osinachi, of course. All right. Now, if you look very well when it comes to women that are abused, there's certain things that they share in common. Abused women, all the women are dead. Number two, all the women were killed by their husbands. Number three, all the women were breadwinners. They were the ones that were bringing in the money. And the list goes on and on and on. If you look at Osinachi, what I just mentioned about all these other women, what I just mentioned about them, you see that Osinachi also shares the same. Probably in the beginning, she didn't have money. Maybe the man was the one that was struggling, going around and making all the money and bringing it home. But as time went by, she became the breadwinner, as y'all can see, of the home.
The reasons why these women that are abused, they can't, or it's difficult for them to leave that relationship. I'm going to go ahead and address some of the few things that I think or that I know that this woman cannot leave the relationship. I want to use Sister Osinachi as the model here. I want to use her story to draw out all these points, because believe me, there are so many Osinachis out there, and they're still going to be, regardless how many times or how much bloggers talk about this, how much the world preach about this, talk about this, there are still going to be Osinachis that are going to come up. Well, what can we do? We can only keep sensitizing, keep talking, because trust me, our talking is not in vain. Although some women don't listen, but our talking is not in vain. Just the other day, I watched the video, right? I watched the video, and there was a lady that came out, and she was testifying and sharing her story. And she was saying that Osinachi saved her life. She called off her wedding to a man that had all the traits of an abused. She said she doesn't want to end up like Osinachi. And she called off the wedding. And we're going to keep talking. We're going to keep talking. So one of the things that these women, they find it difficult, because it's very easy to say, oh, leave that marriage. You're being battered. Leave, leave, leave. You really want to leave. But let me tell you something, you guys, before I dive into this. Do you guys know that these women that are being abused, they come out and they confide in friends or the few family members that they confide in, talking about how they're being abused? Truly it's because they want help, but at the same time, they don't want to leave. They want you to give them a solution to solve their problem. They want you to give you a solution to solve them, not for you to tell them to leave the marriage. They're not going to leave. And one of the principal reasons, they're going to come up with excuses like this. I can't leave because of my children. Which in so many cases, you guys, we've seen that those women that say, I can't leave because of my children, they end up not even being there for the children. Why? Because they end up in body bags and the spouses go to jail. Those same children that you didn't want to leave that abusive marriage because of them end up not having you, not having either parents in their lives. Another reason why these women that have been abused, they cannot leave the relationship is because, let me just say, the money factor. Yes, they're the ones that make the money. They're the ones that bring the money. But you don't know that they are being controlled because every money that they make, the abusers take the money. Again, I'll reference Nachi's case. Nachi, we have read and watched videos how it is being said that, even by the children, that this woman will go sing, make money, and the honorarium that they give her goes straight to the husband's bank account. And then the husband will go in there and remove peanut and come and give her. That's not what you call marriage. You're living in bondage. That's not marriage. And women like this, they can make excuses for their husbands. If a third party or somebody that has observed that something is not really right brings it up to them, come and see how they'll make excuses for that man. One of the reasons is shame. They are shamed. Stigmatization, you guys. They are ashamed that when they come out of that relationship, what's the world going to say about them? They are ashamed that they're going to be laughed at. I'm just so lost. I'm so angry right now doing this video because all I see in my mind's eyes is Osinachi lying in that mortuary right now, in that freezer. In fact, let me jump to the next point. The next point is the fear of rejection. These women are scared. They are they are afraid that they're going to be rejected. Number one, especially by the family. By family members. Not all of them, but have you ever, let me check your memories, you guys. Do you remember sometimes you hear some stories? Parents will tell, a girl child will come up to the parent and say, my husband beat me, or they'll pack their things and rush home. You've even seen it. Worst case scenario, you've seen it in Nigerian movies, right? You've seen it in Nigerian movies where a woman will leave the marriage and come to their family home, and the father will tell them, get your things and go, get out of my house, go back to your husband's house. Go and fix your problem in your husband's house. And the father is going to say something like this: you leave that marriage, I'm going to disown you. A family is going to say something like this: you leave that marriage, you're bringing shame to this family's name. You're bringing shame to this family. As a result, those women, they stay in that abusive relationship. And at the end of the day, they end up in body bags. I'm not saying we may be using Osinachi right now as a case study, but I'm not saying that that was what her situation was. In her situation, which is very unique, very different, the family actually tried to save her. So some of these women, they're scared that people are going to reject them. Friends are going to laugh. And I tie this to what I said, shame. Friends are going to mock at them. They're going to be stigmatized. Family is going to disown them. Family is going to say, don't bring shame onto this family's name or onto this family. You have to stay in your husband's house and fix your problems there. They stay. And then it ends up like Osinachi's case. They're being abused to the point of death. The next point that I'm going to talk about, you guys, is the one that it breaks my heart so much. Religion. Religion. One of the things, and like I said, we're using Osinachi here as a case study. Some of these women that don't want to leave, they don't want to leave because they are afraid. For the ones that are gifted, religion plays a huge part. And I'll tell you, the one thing that religion, look, they'll tell you, of course, God says, I hate divorce. But do you guys don't know that this same Bible supports divorce? I know y'all have heard preachings all over the world saying divorce is not an option. Yes, divorce is an option. Do you rather want to stay in that marriage and be killed? Or do you want to, at least if you don't want to divorce, separate? There's what we call separation. Separate. Women, ladies, I beg of you. I beg you. If you do not want to divorce because religion is in your head, that the Bible says you shouldn't divorce. Your pastor is preaching it every day, don't divorce. Because God says he hates divorce, which of course is true. God says I hate divorce. If you cannot divorce, if you cannot divorce, please separate. Separate instead of ending up in a body bag. At least separate. Do you guys not know that Bible is in support of divorce if your spouse cheats on you? On the basis of infidelity, you can divorce your spouse. Yes, it's in the Bible. So religion plays a very big role. Like for the case of Osinachi, she's thinking in her head, if I leave my marriage, I'm going to be the talk of the church, the talk of the day, the talk of the world. Because I am like a role model. People look up to me. How can I leave my marriage? What message am I sending out there to the Christians? The people that are led into the presence of God in worship. How are they going to look at it? Well, if I leave this marriage, I'm going to be setting a bad example. So I have to stay and make it work. And that is why, guys, Osinachi was hoping that this man was going to change. He was hoping that the husband was going to change. That's what he was telling friends and family. Oh, he's going to change. He's going to change. At the end of the day, there was no change. And he died. She died. And she died. Last, guys, one of the reasons why these women, they don't want to leave their relationship, the marriage, the abusive marriage, is because they are scared that they're going to be so lonely. Imagine the one that has had 2, 3, 4, 5 children. They're thinking when they come out of this marriage, where are they going to go with all those children? They're not going to have any man that's going to look, going to want them in marriage because they have a baggage. So they stay because they are scared that when they come out, they're not going to have anybody and they're going to be lonely. Marriage is not for better, for worst. Marriage is for better, for best. That's my own principle. That's what I think. Because when you start to say marriage for better, for worst, when the worst hits and you stay inside, like in this case, the worst which came to domestic abuse or domestic violence, that was the worst. And what happened? This woman lost her life. Do you guys know the kind of gift that is going to be going to the graveyard? I feel like Osinachi has not completed her mission here. That woman, she still had lots to do. God was using her mightily. She has carried that voice now to the grave. Congregations that she was leading into the presence of God with her voice in worship and in praise. It's not going to be there no more because she's gone. Sometimes the choices that we make, because Osinachi made the choice to stay in that abusive relationship. She had been abused. That abuse didn't just start. It's been going on for years. I know it's easier said than done. We can tell them, leave, leave, leave. But you guys have seen all the reasons that I've told you. The reasons why some of these women find it difficult to leave the relationship, to leave an abusive relationship. I just watched a video, you guys, and I was very disappointed. Brother J. Israel, he was on talking terms with Osinachi. He said Osinachi talked to him about the abuse that she's in her marriage. And Jay said that he tried to help. But where I'm so disappointed is what she said about what her pastor, Paul Enenche, said. This is the same Pastor Paul Enenche that I've him talking about domestic violence, preaching against domestic violence. The same Pastor Paul Enenche that is Osinachi's pastor. Osinachi, J. Israel said that Osinachi told him that Pastor Enenche said that if she leaves her marriage, it's going to be damaging to his reputation and that of the church. Guys, I'm going to play the video. I'm going to just hold it for you guys to watch it on my other phone, because I don't think I'm going to have time to edit it, cut it, and let you guys watch it on my screen. Let me just play it for you guys.
And by trying to live up to the standard of the church, she ended up losing her life in the hands of an abusive man. Sister Ossie, like I used to call her, and myself, we used to talk. She would call me and we would talk. I would call her, we would talk. We were planning to do something together in South Africa. I was planning to invite her to South Africa so that we can do an event together in South Africa. She opened up to me at some point that the husband has got a problem with her going out to minister in different places because the husband is very insecure. And the insecurity of the husband obsession. And it is the obsession of the husband that caused the husband to beat Sister Ossie to a point where she had to be admitted in the hospital for 5 days. She stayed in the hospital for 5 good days before she died. Simply because she was trying to live up to the standard of the church. I asked Sister Ossie a question and I said, woman of God, have you tried to speak to your pastor, Pastor Paul Enenche, and Pastor Becky Enenche? What are they saying to you? What is the advice that they are giving to you? And what she told me was heartbreaking. What she told me up to now, it is one of the reasons why I can't keep quiet about this, because it is sad, man. She told me that the pastor and the wife, Pastor Paul and the wife, said if she leaves the husband or if she divorces the guy simply because the guy is abusive, it is going to dent the name of the church, and it is going to dent the reputation of Pastor Paul Enenche and his wife. Now, I've got a question I want to pose. Now that Sister Ossie is dead, now that Sister Ossie is no more, What has happened to the reputation of Pastor Paul and his wife that they were trying to protect? How dare you tell me that if I divorce, I'm denting the reputation of the church? How dare you tell me that if I leave an abusive husband and divorce him, I am going to dent the reputation of a man of God?
So you guys, you've heard it, right? That is Brother J. Israel. It's not like somebody told him that Osinachi said, that Dr. Paul Enenche said. No. Late Sister Osinachi spoke directly to him, as you guys heard, that the husband, as you guys heard, and like I said, the one that broke my heart is when she said her own pastor, Dr. Paul Enenche, said that if she leaves the marriage, it will tarnish his reputation and that reputation of the church. Religion. Now, where is she today? Guys, I can keep going on and on and on and on, but I'm going to stop the video right here. If you know of any other points, any other reasons, why you think some of these women find it so difficult to leave the marriage that is an abusive marriage, please drop your comments down in the comment section below so somebody else can learn. Somebody else can know that, oh, this reason I need to look out for. Please, I'm begging you. If you are in an abusive relationship, if you're watching me, or you know somebody that's in an abusive relationship, guys, it is not enough. We are going to keep talking about this. We will talk about it over and over. Some of us that have platforms like this. I'm not going to have a platform like this and I don't use it to try to save lives. If you're watching me and you find yourself in an abusive relationship and you're looking at every excuse to not leave that marriage, please, you may end up in a body bag. You may not live another day to tell your story. I want you to think about Sister Osinachi. That could be you. Do not make excuses for this man. Leave. Leave. What should a woman do if they're being abused?
There's no two ways about it. Your life comes.
Tell them.
Your life comes before marriage. It's only someone that is alive that will be married. If you are not alive, there will be no husband, there will be no children. A lot of people stay in abusive relationship. Number one, because of their children.
It's like you were here when I said that point.
You said that?
Yes.
If I leave these children, my children will suffer. I take my children, the children will be without a father. That's not true. All right. So you can do it from a distance. Nothing is as important as your life. It's not worth it. I guess I'm even being part of this. I'm talking about it because of the topic. Domestic violence is unacceptable. It's only an animal, because it's not normal, to raise your hand on another human being and someone that you claim to love, your wife, the mother of your children, and you are beating up that person to the point of death, to the point of injury. It is unacceptable. It is not. I don't care what anybody says. It is not acceptable. Domestic violence is not acceptable. And you ladies, please, your life comes first. Your life comes first. Guess what? My final say, the day you pass, the day we all die, no matter how much you love somebody or somebody loves you, I have never seen where they put two people inside a casket. My sister, if you die, they will bury you alone, not with your children, not with your husband. And guess what? Your loved one will post pictures on social media. Oh, she was this, she was that. The same day, somebody will eat jollof rice. Somebody will drink. Life goes on. But guess what? Your chapter is over, device.
Thank you for lending your voice, babe. Y'all heard him. This is the best we can do, you guys, is to sensitize people, is to tell people about this. It's almost like a low-key, it's a pandemic, a low-key pandemic amongst women. You know, the best we can do is lend our voice or lend our voices, you know. So please, again, this is not an entertainment I'm doing here. If you find yourself, you know, this domestic abuse, it starts gradually. It may just start with some things as simple as just, you know, talking to you without respect. But then it grows and then it escalates. And then before you know it, we start hearing cases like Sister Osinachi. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Until I come your way next time, you guys stay safe, stay blessed, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, guys. Bye. Say no to domestic violence.